When my friend Tara laughed and said, "So are you going to apologize for ghosting us, or what?" I honestly thought she was joking. I was standing in front of her with an iced coffee in my hand, at the table we'd used for years. My phone was on the table. I'd been the one who texted, "Hey, miss you guys, can we grab a drink?" Everyone's eyes did that weird little flick away like they'd rehearsed it. And suddenly I wasn't catching up with my friends. I was on trial. For context, we were a tight group in our late 20s. Trivia on Tuesdays, birthdays done properly, group chat called Council of Hot Takes. There were 6 of us. We weren't soulmates or anything, but we had a rhythm. People drift, sure, but we'd always snapped back. Over the past year, that snap back stopped happening. I chalked it up to adult life. Promotions, one couple bought a house, another friend started dating someone with kids. I told myself it was normal. It was almost comforting to think it was normal. Then I started noticing the things that don't fit the normal drifting story. First escalation. The invitations got oddly specific. Not, "We're doing drinks," but "small thing, just the girls," even when the guys had been part of our core forever. Or, "work friends only," which made no sense because only 2 of them worked together. I'd see it afterward on Instagram. Stories that were not a big deal, but still had everyone accept me. I'd ask lightly, like, "Oh, fun, when was that?" and get these bland answers that felt copy-pasted. Tara's favorite, it was last minute. Everything was last minute. Second escalation. It stopped being subtle. A couple months after the last minute phase, I found out they'd gone to a cabin for a weekend. Not just anyone's cabin, my parents' cabin. I only found out because my mom texted me, "Hope you had fun up north with your friends." I stared at that message like it was written in the wrong language. I hadn't been up north in months. I called her and she said, cheerfully, "Oh, Tara picked up the key from the lockbox like you said was fine." I didn't say that, I told my mom. There was a pause where I could feel her flipping through mental files. "Well," she said, "you offered." She seemed so sure. "You're not mad, are you?" I told her no, because I could hear the shame forming in her voice and I didn't want her to feel caught in something. Then I hung up and sat on my couch, trying to figure out how my friends got access to my family's cabin without me, and why my mom believed them. When I asked Tara, she replied, "OMG, we thought you knew." I swear I told you. It was probably in the chat and you missed it. That, "you missed it," became the theme. If I didn't know something, it was because I missed it. Third escalation. The public humiliation. A few weeks later was Ethan's birthday. Ethan had been my friend since college, and in my mind that meant something. I brought a bottle of bourbon I knew he liked and showed up to the bar where the reservation was. The host looked down at his iPad and said, "You're not on the list." I laughed, thinking it was a mix-up. "I'm with Ethan's party." He did that polite, tense smile servers do when they're about to be blamed. "I have an, Ethan, 10 p.m., party of 8. You're not on it." And then, behind me, I heard Tara's voice. Oh my God, she came. Not, "Hey," not, "You made it." Just that. Everyone was already seated. I walked over anyway because turning around felt worse. Ethan stood up halfway like he couldn't decide if he was happy or panicking. Tara said, loud enough that the adjacent table glanced over, "We didn't think you were coming because you haven't been responding. Like, at all." I held up my phone like an idiot. "I texted Ethan yesterday. I'm literally here." Ethan took the phone, looked, and his face pinched. "I didn't get this." Tara gave a little shrug. "See? This is what I mean. You say you're trying, but you're not." And there it was. The accusation. Not just that I drifted, but that I was lying about trying. I sat down because leaving would have looked like guilt. I spent an hour watching my own friends trade glances over my head, like they were coordinating traffic. Later that night I went home and started scrolling through my group chat, searching for words like cabin, and birthday, and reservation. There were holes. Entire conversations that should have existed, didn't. Like someone had edited our shared history. I'm not dramatic about technology, but I know what a normal chat looks like. This wasn't normal. I texted Ethan, straightforward. "Did you block me at any point?" He called me instead of replying. He sounded exhausted, like he'd been holding his breath for weeks. "I didn't," he said. "But Tara told me you blocked her. She showed me screenshots." "Screenshots of what?" "Your messages not delivering." The green bubble stuff. And she said you'd been talking bad about people, like you were trying to break up the group. I actually laughed, but it came out brittle. Ethan, I don't even have the energy to break up my recycling. He didn't laugh back. Look, he said, I don't want drama. Can we just fix it? Fix it, like it was a misunderstanding. Like someone hadn't been running a quiet PR campaign against me. The next day, I did the most uncomfortable thing. I asked to see Tara's screenshots. She sent them immediately, like she'd been waiting. They showed messages from me that had not delivered. A few had weird timestamps, like 3:07 a.m. when I was asleep. One had my name above a block notice. It was meant to prove I was the one shutting people out. Two things hit me at once. 1. The screenshots were all of texts between me and Tara, nothing from the group chat. 2. The contact name at the top wasn't my full name like it appears on her phone. It was Lena, new, with my old profile picture from years ago. I opened my contacts. I've had the same number since I was 16. It's attached to everything. There is no new. Unless someone had created a second contact with a fake number and labeled it as me. I tested it with Ethan. I asked him to send me a screenshot of my contact in his phone. He did, and my stomach went cold for a different reason. Under my name, there were two numbers. One was mine, one was not. The second number was the one he'd been texting for months. I called it. Tara picked up, not her voicemail, her voice. Calm, slightly annoyed, like she'd been caught mid-task. Hello? I didn't say anything at first because my brain was trying to keep up. Then I said, why are you answering a number saved as me in Ethan's phone? Silence. Not confusion, just silence. Then she exhaled, like I'd interrupted her day. Okay, she said quietly. Before you freak out. Before I freak out? I repeated. She launched into this explanation that was half confession, half justification. Apparently, months ago when I missed one dinner because I had strep, someone joked that I was always bailing lately. Tara said she handled it because she was tired of coordinating and tired of people being disappointed when I didn't show. Her solution was to separate the threads. She created a second contact for me, swapped it into people's phones when she had an excuse. Oh, your phone's acting weird, let me try, and started funneling messages meant for me into her own number. So if someone invited me somewhere, it would go to Tara. She could say I didn't respond. If I reached out, she'd claim I never did. If I asked why I wasn't included, she could act like I was the flaky one. It was social engineering with a side of plausible deniability. I asked her why, like, the real why. She hesitated, then said, because the group was better when it was easier. You were always asking questions. You always wanted details. You'd make it complicated. I almost admired the honesty, if it hadn't been my life. The irony is I'd been telling myself we were drifting naturally. Meanwhile, someone had been physically rewriting how people reached me. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I did something way colder. I documented everything. I took screenshots of the call log showing that number connecting to Tara. I asked Ethan to check the contact edit history on his phone and sent him instructions. I asked two other friends to look at my contact and tell me what they saw. Both of them had the second number too. Then I sent a single message to the group chat. Quick question. Why do some of you have two numbers saved under my name, and why does the second one ring Tara? I wasn't in the mood to cushion it. The replies came in like dominoes. What the hell? Is this a joke? Ethan. Tara. Answer. Tara didn't answer for 20 minutes. When she finally did, she tried to frame it as a miscommunication, and said she was only trying to keep things organized. Nobody bought it, not even the people who'd been cold to me. In a weird way, it was validating to watch them realize they'd been played. But it was also nauseating, because it meant they'd been ready to believe I was the problem with almost no evidence. We didn't have a dramatic blow-up. It was worse. People went quiet. Plans got cancelled. Ethan apologized to me privately and admitted he'd been relieved to have a reason for my absence, because the alternative was that the group was changing and he couldn't control it. Tara sent me a long message about feeling unappreciated and carrying the social load. I didn't argue with that part. She probably did carry a lot. She just chose a method that was borderline unhinged. The cabin key got a new code. My mom got a simplified version of the story that didn't make her feel stupid. I started making my own plans with people one-on-one, and some of those friendships survived. The group, as a group, didn't. I used to think friend groups falling apart was this slow, natural erosion, like water on rock. Now I know it can be an active process, with someone quietly holding the hose, smiling while they do it. And the most embarrassing part is how long I called it drifting, when it was actually sabotage with a group chat cover charge.